Hello, my name is Christina McCabe, and I'm an English teacher at Chatham High School. I'm one of the Chatham Education Foundation's biggest fans, and I know that you have many big fans. So while I'm sad that we can't be together tonight in person, I'm delighted that I'm able to talk to you about the impact of the Chatham Education Foundation grants. Particularly, I'll be talking about the TedxYouth at Chatham and TED Masterclass programs. To me, the most beautiful thing about the work that we are doing with TED is that we're able to show students and educators that their stories and their ideas matter and that people care about what they have to say and they want to listen. And so while I'll be focusing on TedxYouth at Chatham and TED Masterclass, I think it's important to set the stage by talking about the course, Talking the Talk, where students are invited to learn public speaking skills and ultimately give a TED Talk. And I wanted to share a short video where you can hear directly from students the impact of the work. And again, they actually reference some of the furniture that Chatham Education Foundation has provided. And you get to see again why it's so important that they have opportunities like TedxYouth to participate in.
My favorite part of the class was definitely just the sense of community.
Miss McCabe allows us to really write about what we want.
It doesn't feel like school. Like, even if public speaking and writing isn't your thing, you're gonna enjoy this class.
It's very personal because of all the units and topics we came up with. We were usually talking about ourselves and our own experiences.
They're just really relaxing and being able to open up to each other instead of having to awkwardly turn chairs or desks.
The Chatham Education Foundation actually gives a grant for a bunch of different new furnitures.
I think we only have like 4 of like the typical like school desks.
The chairs were made for like a really open environment.
She has all this cool stuff to try to get defocused, and especially I'm ADHD, and being ADHD, I tend to move around a lot, and basically these chairs are kind of designed to kind of supplement that, so you can move without distracting the class, and you can, and it's super awesome.
I feel like I kind of went into it expecting more of just a general public speaking class, but you leave with skills that can help you in just day-to-day conversations.
We immediately jumped into discussions and debates in class.
The class definitely taught me things that I'll be using for my entire life.
I took this just in time for college interviews, so that was amazing.
Talking the talk helps you refine those skills, your social skills, your ability to talk with other people and communicate with them.
You know, you can feel confident, feel good, and overall be more articulate.
I'm not the most confident person to begin with, and having the confidence to get up and do that TED Talk, especially on such a personal issue, I did in mine on adoption, I'm adopted, it really made me feel really good.
I learned what I'm capable of, because before taking that class, I didn't know I was capable of getting up there and speaking in front of so many people about something I truly cared about, because I'd never really been given the opportunity.
No matter what level you are, no matter what grade you are, truly, it is an opportunity to better yourself.
The most amazing part of it for me was standing up there and then looking out at the audience around me and seeing all those people who came there for me. You know, those people were here to hear what I had to say, and that was just amazing.
I did not think I could ever like present in front of a group of people before this class, but like now I feel like really comfortable.
People are attending either because they really genuinely want to hear what you have to say, or because they've gone through the exact same thing as you. So there was really nothing to be scared of.
It's amazing looking back at all that work you did and seeing it kind of come to fruition with the final TED Talk.
I guess the point is, if you're nervous or if you're scared to present, or even just if you're naturally bad at talking to people, this class will really help you, and I think that's why it's so important.
So while I love when Matthew says it doesn't feel like school, because that's an amazing compliment for a teacher to hear about a course, the quote that I really get teary every time I hear is when Jackson says, "I learned what I am capable of." You heard other students echoing that they found confidence that they didn't know they had. They learned what they could do. They learned they had a story worth sharing. And what a beautiful gift that is to be able to give students. And so before our first event, Karen Chase and I received a Chatham Education Foundation grant to attend TED Women in Palm Springs, California. Not only was this event an obvious career and just life highlight for me, but it allowed us to see how a true TED event runs in terms of speakers and hosting and interstitial content and the way the community feel is created at these events, which is incredibly important. So we were able to take notes and bring back some of our favorite things to incorporate into our own TED event to make the experience even more authentic for our students.
We were also able to meet lots of other educators and speakers and TED Ed team members who we're still in touch with today, and to help us to make the program continuously better and to continue to provide great opportunities for our students.
And so students who take Talking the Talk are then invited to apply to speak at TedxYouth at Chatham, which is our community event. So in our first year, it looked like this in the beautiful brand new Chatham High School auditorium with more than 500 people in attendance. We had 4 student speakers and 4 adult speakers from the community. It was an amazing and honestly magical night. The energy was incredible, and we heard so much positive feedback from audience members who felt really connected, and that was our first theme, actually, the power of connection. Felt connected to the community and heard ideas that inspired them to think differently and engage in important conversations beyond the event, which is really what TEDx events are designed to do. So while we hit some significant challenges last year, of course, the event looked more like this. So we decided it was important enough to still have a virtual event. And with the Chatham Education Foundation and our TEDx team, we were able to still film talks socially distanced in an empty auditorium. And Connor Henderson was instrumental in putting it all together for a virtual event for us. We were able to have a live Q&A with the speakers and had some really neat surprises along the way. Throughout the event, we do try to engage and incorporate as many groups and highlight student talents as we can. And so we ask the art teachers to have their students design logos for us. So again, the first year was the power of connection, last year was perspective, and students are actually currently at work designing our logo for this year's event, which will also be held virtually. We also like to feature different groups and different people doing great things in our community, whether it's teens connecting with teens or our jazz band or our business leaders group, to again show the amazing things happening in Chatham. I've just picked 4 very short clips from the first and second year of TEDx to show you the caliber of these students' ideas and their poise on stage.
Open up one of these conversations. Try using the phrase, "I'm here if you need me." That phrase affected every man and woman that I talked to at that VA that night. For many of them, they were the first to serve in their families after 9/11. So when they came back, they felt alone. They didn't have that sense of brotherhood that became so important to each and every one of them. But that phrase is not saying you have an issue and you need help. It's saying, "I'm here for you. If you want to talk, I'm here to listen. If you want to listen, I'm here to..."
If you take one thing away from this talk, it shouldn't be that you need to go buy Crocs to make amazing memories. It should make you realize that there is a whole world out there that is yet to be explored. Take an hour, take a weekend, take a week to go and appreciate the beauty that is all throughout this world. This world is something that everyone for generations to come should have the ability to appreciate. In order to have a true impact on this world, we need to teach each other how to appreciate the world that we are beginning to lose. Thank you.
By learning a new language, you can learn a new you. You can create new perspectives, make new relationships, and unleash a voice inside of yourself that may have been silent before.
And so in those clips, you just get to see again how amazing these ideas are, and the fact that we're able to give students to that stage, that platform to share their ideas is really incredible. And all of the students who present at TEDx, because our event is so highly rated, their talks get submitted to TED and are actually now available to watch on TED.com. Haley, the last speaker, actually had a really cool story she shared with me over the summer. She's going to school now in South Korea, and she said that she met somebody who she hadn't even met before, recognized her profile picture because she had seen her TED Talk. And so the fact that these students see that their ideas matter, not only within Chatham, not only within New Jersey, the US, but really can impact and affect people all around the world is really incredible. I wanted to just briefly share that, again, because of the work that we've been doing and the way we've built the program, a couple students and I applied last year to go to TED Ed Weekend in New York City, which was absolutely incredible. We were one of a very small number of groups there. I think there were about 125 students. There were 2 days of programming for students and educators. And you see in the picture here where it says, "We need your help." It's actually Chris Anderson, the head of TED, standing on stage and talking to our students about why their ideas and their voice matter so much. So really beautiful things are happening. And I just wanted to share a little bit of feedback from participants and people who have been in the audience at TEDx events, our TEDxYouth at Chatham events, to see again what the impact really is. I walked out of the auditorium feeling optimistic and hopeful, and thrilled that my town, the teachers, the parents, and students found the topic and exercise to be worth their time and effort to put together. To hear real stories about kids and parents in my own town was both informative and powerful. It amazes me how children learn to express themselves and communicate raw emotions and triumphs in a healthy format. And to watch a normally shy student do a talk with such confidence is transformational for them. And that's honestly my favorite word when I think about the work with TED and the work that the Chatham Education Foundation has allowed us to do. It really is transformational. Having a program like this available to the future leaders of our nation is vital to the positive growth in our society, and I couldn't agree more. And with that, I'll transition into TED Masterclass, which is the educator experience. And so we've been running this program for 2 years now. The first year was an in-person summer session with a small cohort of educators, so not just teachers, but educators in the district, sharing their ideas, their voices, and again, developing a TED Talk. Because TED really believes that educator voices need to be amplified. And so we were really proud to take part in that work, and all the teachers that have gone through TED Masterclass have had the opportunity to film and share their TED Talks. And again, just to briefly share some feedback from them so you can see the impact. I learned that ideas don't have to reach a large audience to be valuable. The messages that everyone shared to just our small group were so important and impacted us all. I learned that I'm a strong person that does have a message to give. Telling a story that is important to you allows a person to share bits of themselves that cannot be seen from the outside. I'm a very private person, and this allowed me to open up in ways that I do not normally. I learned that I can keep on going even when I'm terrified. Standing on the red dot was harder than I expected. And I was so proud of myself and my colleagues for getting up there and doing it. So again, in the feedback, you see the transformational qualities, not only as an individual, but also as the group. It helped me find my voice and made me feel much more encouraged to continue sharing who I am with my students. I always knew how valuable learning about them is, and it's so much of why I love teaching, but it made me recognize sharing myself is just as critical. I love that one. And again, as a result of the work that we're doing, TED has actually reached out to a few of our educators to amplify their stories even further. So I just wanted to briefly share a clip from Chris Fallon's TED Talk. She's an English teacher at Chatham High School, and her talk has been featured now on TED-Ed's YouTube and social media channels.
We have a superpower as educators. We have the power of human connection. We can close a door so tightly that it can change the direction of someone's life. Or we can open it so wide that the learning never stops.
And then myself and George Iannuzzi have both been asked to speak at TED Ed educator events in New York City. I spoke about how TED has been transformational across our district and the classroom, community, and educator level. And George was asked to share a little bit more about his idea and the process behind developing his talk. So really neat. And even though this is educator-focused work, there is a direct impact on students. It translates to the classroom in many ways. The participants reported that they felt more confident, more empathetic, more engaging storytellers, that they were better at understanding how to connect with an audience. So they became more engaging teachers because of the work that they did. And they also rethought projects and opportunities for students. So whether that was incorporating a storytelling unit, encouraging students to develop and share their voice in new ways, or even bringing the TED program down to the 3rd grade because of what they've been inspired by seeing educators give their talks. And again, it really has transformed the culture. Its connections have formed with people from different departments and different schools, and there's shared learning that might not have happened if there wasn't this opportunity. And so it closed with this one where it says, to have a reminder that there is more to everyone's story creates compassion, and this has led to more positive interactions with my colleagues. I can only imagine the changes that would come if the whole staff could experience the same thing. And so I want to thank you with deep gratitude for allowing us to do this work. It has real and incredible impact on the educators and the students in our district. So thank you so much.